What is up, everyone? Welcome back to even more Umineko episode 8. In the previous recording session, we wrapped up Ange's little quiz show with the rest of the relatives, and I totally answered everything right all on my own. Definitely didn't need to save Scum for most of it. But then shortly after that, Castle shows up, rolling in like a little doll from the Saw movies, like, wanna play a game? And then, of course, Battler and Beatrice say, yes, of course, we'd love one last game with our rival. And it led to a fun little mini-game for me to try to solve who the culprits were in Castle's story. And I then spent the next, hour and a half trying to do so, and you know, I'm not one to pat myself on the back, but I'd like to think I did pretty well. You know, given my track record as to, you know, as to solving things, you know, I'd say the fact that I only really needed one big hint to help me out, which was the fact that, you know, the narration calling Jessica a corpse was confirmation that she was dead. So I think after I got that, everything kind of fell into place pretty well. And then, of course, here we are now, after I locked in my answer of Badler and his parents being a trio of culprits. We are now here. Maria, started throwing accusations at Badler. Badler's like, what? No. Me and my parents? No, my parents are dead. How could you say such things, Maria? And then Kid and Rudolph appear out of the shadows like, haha, no, you're right. We are murderers. Ho ho. So, anyway. That's where we are now. I'm going to say up front, this is going to be a shorter recording session, as I am recovering after being very sick for about a solid week. I'm still not up to 100% yet, but I did want to get a little bit of recording in while I had the opportunity, because then I don't want to fall too far behind. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump back into episode 8. The voice came from behind Angie. She spun around, surprised. There, covered in blood, yet wearing cheery expressions, were Rudolph and Kyrie. Of course, after hearing all these accusations, George is still just like, oh my god, you two are alive. Oh, wait. And for saying that much, George realized what his words meant, and his face twisted into an expression of shock and horror. Maria wasn't surprised. Yeah, no, Maria's a G. She knew. However, she showed no joy at having her answer proved correct. And as for Battler, Angie saw it. Yeah, that was the whole thing, is that Angie's, trapped in this story somehow. And, this was the whole point. This was never supposed to be a big final game that was to stump, Battler and Beato. It was for fucking Angie to see this horrific fucking thing and really scar her. That terrible expression, one that she would never forget as long as she lived. It was a demon smile. A hideous demon that she'd never see again twisted its face in a foul grin, and the truly horrible thing was that she saw it on her brother's face. Rudolph and Kyrie lifted up the guns they had been holding behind them. The barrels pointed at the foreheads of George, who staggered backwards, and Maria, who grinned as though she was beyond caring what happened next. There was a flash of lightning and a crack of thunder. Nothing more could be heard. Then, as George and Maria were snapped around by that roar, the strings holding them were snipped. The two dolls fell into puddles with a splash and stopped moving. All of this occurred right before Angie's eyes, because of course it did. Ooh, I'm not gonna lie. This CG do go hard though. Kyrie looks mad stupid, alright? Rudolph kind of pulls off the eyeless look there, the eyeless evil look. Kyrie looks mad stupid, but if we kind of cover up Kyrie here, this image of Battler and Rudolph, ooh, that go hard. I'm not gonna lie, that goes hard. Yeah, bring the text box back, because it covers up Kyrie for the most part. that goes hard. That, like, you know, it's unfortunate that Angie has to see this, but that goes hard. Angie stood stunned beside them, wasn't visible to their eyes. They guffawed, overcome with laughter. Then, right in front of Angie, they started joking and complimenting each other on their kills so far. The three hideous faces, the faces of her family, made Angie want to cry and vomit at the same time, as she felt as though she would suffocate. Angie dashed away, covering her mouth. She wanted to escape the disgusting laughter coming from her beloved family as soon as possible. Then she slipped and fell face down in a puddle of mud. She didn't try to get up. In fact, she instead chose to cover her ears to block out the disgusting laughter that she could still hear. As she did, in the shadows of the fences and bushes in this inky black rose garden, several dark things slipped into sight. Oh. Oh no. Uh-oh. 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 That's no bueno. Angie looked around surprised to see eerie black shapes appearing from all over the garden, and slowly surrounding her. It was a crowd of people with goat heads. Sure is. Their outfits were all different. Some wore suits, while others were dressed casually. However, all of them were covered with darkness, and all of them had goat heads. Angie, bewildered, accidentally let her hands fall from her ears. By now she couldn't hear that disgusting laughter. However, in their place, she could hear the words spoken by the goats. As the goats continued to mumble in eerie voices, they surrounded Angie and began to draw nearer. They all pressed around her, each of them naming Angie's family as the culprits. At first, everyone joined in on the Eva culprit theory. The sole survivor from Rokenjimo got almost all of the wealth to herself, so such a theory was only natural. Why was Ushiromiya Eva the only one who escaped Kurodorian? And why did she refuse so stubbornly to talk about what happened that day? It was decided that the Eva culprit theory fit all these facts. However, when Eva died of illness and people learned that all the vast wealth she had created by unscrupulous means would go to Angie, public opinion, or rather, the forgers, created and spread a new culprit theory. Oh, I see. This was the Rudolph's family culprit theory. If it was normal for everyone to come to the family conferences, why was Angie the only one who didn't come this time? Did Rudolph's family have some reason for not bringing the young Angie with them? They did take Battler, but he wasn't Kirie's son. Then, when it was revealed in some magazines that Kirie's family had close ties to a massive gangster organization, all eyes suddenly gathered on Kirie herself, as they should. The truth of how Rudolph had made a killing out of fraudulent business practices was also laid bare, and almost immediately the couple became thought of as the most suspicious people on the island. Hideyoshi and Eva's company might have been heavy-handed at times, but at least had operated within the law. However, the more Rudolph's company was investigated, the more dirt was dug up. Furthermore, testimony was dug up about various scandals involving party tickets from the time Rudolph and Kirie were students. It was clear that they were far more suspicious than Eva's family. And so, in a flash, the Rudolph's family culprit theory expelled the other conspiracy theories, including the Eva culprit theory, and reigned as the greatest of them all. It wasn't really because it was more plausible than the Eva culprit theory. They had just gotten bored of the old theory and wanted a new sensation. Ooh. The goats seemed to bend and undulate. The sky rapidly turned white, becoming a ceiling lit by fluorescent lamps. Ugh! Oh, that's so much worse. The goats had changed completely, becoming the shapes of girls wearing goat masks. All the girls were wearing the same clothes. It was a uniform. The uniform of St. Lucia Academy.
本当の犯人はルドルフとキリエなんだって。
聞いた聞いた。そうだよね。娘だけ置いてくなんてなんかおかしいもんね。
後ろ宮エヴァって確か本人は毒殺されてるって訴えてんじゃあもう黒幕は誰か明白じゃん。
Oh
いい
god.
よね。一族の財産すべて独り占めなんでしょ。
やっぱルドルフ一家犯人説だって思ってたんだよね。
後ろ宮さんってどこかおかしいって思ってたんだよね。
おかしいと思ってたよね。ルドルフとキリエが犯人。
バトラも犯人じゃないの？
ルドルフ一家犯人説。
ルドルフとキリエが犯人。
財産を独り占めにしようとしたんだけどエヴァに返り討ちにあってそれで失敗して。
でも結局は後ろ宮エンジェの独り占めなんでしょ。
ルドルフとキリエが犯人だって。
ルドルフ一家犯人説。
ルドルフとキリエとバトラが犯人。
ルドルフとキリエとバトラが犯人。
後ろ宮さんのご家族が犯人なんですって。
それってどう思う？ねえね
でも結局財産は全てあなたが独り占めできるんでしょ。
後ろ宮エヴァはそれであなたには何も。
え。絶対にあの子が怪しいって思って。
エヴァがあんたに辛く当たったことも。
ねえねえ何か言ってよ。感想とか。
ほんと気持ち悪い子だよね。
ルドルフ一家犯人説ってどう思うか。ちょっとくらい何か言いなさいよ。感じ悪い。
A blade of air swept over me as I crouched down, holding my head. Ooh. Who came through? Is it Big Bro? In a flash, the illusion of female students with goat heads that surrounded me shattered. Big Bro coming through? I was curled up in a puddle in the rainy rose garden, surrounded by goats. Or is it Big Angie? Is Big Angie saving Little Angie? I don't know, there's so many possibilities. But then, those goats were sliced in half, and the upper half slipped to the side. It was like seeing a master swordsman slice through a stick of bamboo. Will.
こっち。
That's a female voice. The voice came from that black cat. The black cat with the bell that had guided me here. Incredible that it can talk. That doesn't matter now. I dashed after it. The goat shrank back. A hole opened up in their encirclement. The black cat dashed through it. As I hurried through it, the goats began to chase after me. Countless heavy footsteps thundered behind us.
どこまで逃げるの、黒猫さん。
The cat ignored my stupid question. Where are we running to? It's obvious. As far away as we can make it. However, there was an unbelievable number of goats. It wasn't just the group chasing us. There were probably goats hiding throughout the rose garden, and everywhere we went, a group of them would appear and block our path. Each time we bumped into them, we ran down a different path in this maze of a rose garden. So I didn't even know which direction we were running anymore. It couldn't be. We aren't running around in circles inside a massive crowd of goats, are we? When we ran into the arbor once more, I learned that my fears were justified. The 4 paths that led from the arbor were all blocked by a crowd of goats. Of course, the path we had come down was also blocked by our pursuers. There was nowhere to go and nowhere to return to. We were finally trapped.
黒猫さん、どうしよう。囲まれた。
The black cat glared at the goats that surrounded us, standing on guard. It's all over for us. At that moment, I found myself floating in the air. A massive arm, large enough to crush my entire head, had grabbed my collar from behind. Before I could even think to cry out, I saw, right in front of my face, a pair of strangely glowing red eyes, and a massive mouth with jagged teeth and a foul breath. The mouth opened wide, and as though it was a separate creature, a bizarre tongue stuck itself out. Then it spat words at me. Then, that gaping, smelly mouth slowly bent to close over Angie's head.
反論。
ルドルフ一家犯人説以外でもロジックの構築は可能です。
Who? A blue flash sliced off the top of the mouth that was trying to eat Angie's head, sending it flying. I fell into a puddle, along with the goat that was still grasping my collar, but there was nothing left of it above its chin. Without any hesitation, the goat stretched out their thick arms, as though they'd been given a second chance to snatch this prey for themselves, and they rushed towards me. All of them spoke in unison. Erika?
例えばジョージ一家犯人説でも可能です。
It almost sounds like Erika, like if Erika was incredibly calm, which is very rare for Erika, which is why it kind of throws me off. A red flash and a blue line became blades of wind that passed over my head, doubly slicing the arms of a goat that tried to pick me up. I think the next goats dashed, not towards me, but towards the black cat that was protecting me from behind. As I sat on my butt, staring up towards the raining night sky, the massive goats were in the air right above me, fighting the black cat, or someone.
犯人は殺人者のことと定義されています。そして殺人は登場人物に対して行われたものにしか限定しないとは言っています。
Yo, as something I pointed out.
すなわちジョージが当該ですでに本件以外の殺人を犯していたならば、この島で誰も殺さ
Yeah,
なかった。
I was using that line to try to talk about Kyrie, to try to fulfill like the fact that the first person had killed 6 people. But I mean, yeah, you could bend it to apply to other people. The deep red curves bit into the goat. Its massive body was knocked into the air, became about 7 logs of flesh, and was thrown into the rose bushes. This time, the terrible force of the attack shocked the goats. They faltered, shook, stepped back. Finally, I understood. That red slice had come from a weapon that could draw red slashes. No, it also drew blue slashes just a second ago. It was a massive sight that could speak both types of truth, red and blue, at will. Hey, I was gonna say who has a scythe, but I mean, technically, I think Byrne also has a scythe. But I know for a fact Erika has a scythe. I looked up at the sky, then let my head hang down backwards. Yeah, I fucking knew it. I'm not used to her talking so calmly, but like in little tidbits I could catch it. I'm like, it's Erika. Also, it makes sense because Byrne said she'd be bringing Erika back, and that it would take her a while to get there or whatever. There was no black cat there. It was a girl holding a large scythe. Yeah.
いかがです？フルドエリカにはこの程度の推理が可能です。
When the crowd of goats recognized the girl who called herself Erika, a stir passed through it. It was clear that this person had enough of a reputation to make them tremble. Oh, go off. Erika lifted me up, flew into the air, and landed on top of the arbor. Then she let go of me, and still wielding her scythe, made an elegant curtsy to the crowd of goats surrounding us.
初対面の方々がほとんどでしょう。自己紹介です。はじめまして。探偵フルドエリカと申します。ルドルフ一家犯人説しか思いつかない石ころ頭どもはど
Come
う
on, man,
ぞお
don't
引き
call
取
me a
りを。
blockhead. I tried my best. Why you gotta make fun of me like this, Erika?
あるいは
The fuck?
私を論破できるおつもりでいる皆さんは無論私も歓迎して差し上げます。
The goats all howled at once. It seemed to be a cry of shock, of fear, or possibly of awe. The goats surrounded the arbor, chattering, but not moving any closer. None of them had the courage to stand against this detective, this witch of truth called Erika.
やれやれどなたもこのフルダエリカと論戦を楽しもうという勇気がないのですか？ならば残念、お開きにさせていただきましょう。さりとてこのフルダ石頭の間抜け諸君を一人一人後片付けは彼女にお願いします。
Who's up? No, they're bringing in my fucking least favorite cunt into this? No way is the fucking shrill, annoying Ava Beatrice gonna step in and do something like help out Angie in some way. No shot. I want to say no shot, but I know exactly what those spiderwebs represent. Umineko cried out, red cracks open in the dark night sky. Look like the spiderweb-shaped fissures that appear when a glass window has been struck hard. Or is it more like a blood-red spiderweb? Well, that's... That was the thing. Annika's whole thing is that it could potentially be George's family as well. That was, Annika's whole reasoning, right? So it only makes sense if she's also accusing, George's family, then, who would also fall in line as a culprit there? Oh, it would be Ava. Who fucking shows up whenever Ava's a culprit? Oh, this bitch. A laugh rang out through the spiderweb-covered world. A witch's laugh. It sounded somehow familiar to Ange. And there, standing on the spiderweb and gazing down on the goats who must have looked like trapped bugs, was the witch.
この私を差し置いて誰が六軒島の王女ですって？私を差し置いてルドルフが犯人？
It was the witch who had hidden inside of Ava. A witch of the future, who would one day call herself the Endless Witch after the cat box closed over this world.
このエヴァ・ベアトリーチェを差し置いてこの島の殺人劇を誰が語ると？
Ma'am, I try to forget about you all the time. And they keep bringing you back.
おこがましいと知りな
They
さい。
just keep bringing you back. Much to my dismay, they just keep bringing you back.
この島のすべての生き死には私の手のひら。すべての財産も黄金もすべてそして猫箱に閉ざされたこの1986年このエヴァ・ベアトリーチェのもの。
Listen, I honestly don't mind if she shows up as long as she doesn't start laughing. That's the only part I just can't stand about her. Ava swung her one-winged staff at the crowd of foolish goats beneath her, proclaiming their deaths. The ceiling of spiderwebs that covered the heavens plummeted, and more spiderwebs seeped out of the ground at the goats' feet. Then the webs from above and below met, and thousands upon thousands of goats were caught in their grasp. Then, as Ava swung her staff, it swirled, around and around like egg yolk being mixed in a bowl. Eventually it was all packed into a massive blood-red goo. The moans of goats drifted out from inside. That entire crowd had been compressed to a meatball of a few meters across.
私が犯人であることを疑うおバカさん。
あなたたちはエヴァ犯人説で思考停止がお似合いです。
潰れて消えちゃえば。